Welcome to another Cam Does Data. Today we're going to look at a few places you can find data sets and a way you can create your own data. Because let's face it, everyone's tired of seeing the Titanic data set analyzed. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we've all heard of Kaggle. Now, to be fair, there is data available on Kaggle. My main problem with Kaggle is a lot of the data is more set up for like data scientists and like machine learning and a lot of other things that you may have a hard time analyzing some of it. So it depends. You can find stuff on Kaggle, but let me show you another list. If you come over to camdoesdata.com, may sound familiar, you click up on resources. Click on free data sets. Now, I'll link this below too if you don't want to type all that in. And just right here in this section, you can see some, I do have Kaggle on here, but you can see a list that I've compiled of different places you can find, publicly available data sets. Data.gov, various different things. You can come on over here to AWS. There's a bunch of different places, different things you can find. There's a lot of data available here. That depends what you're looking for, really what you need for the project you're working on. One really good one I can recommend from this list, though, is the Google Dataset Search. What this does is it's like using Google, but instead of searching all of Google, you're just searching for data sets. So if I can say something like, I don't know, customer churn. Perfect, there we go. Customer churn. So this has Kaggle. There's Hugging Face, there's a bunch of different spots. So now I can go to these different websites and look at some data. But even better than that, the next project we're going to do, you are going to need Python. Now, it doesn't matter how you run Python, if you use PyCharm, if you use VS Code, however you want to run Python. I'm not going to cover that in this video, how to install and run Python. I'm just going to show you how to use a particular Python library. So this may be beyond your skill set, but trust me, there's so many videos out there that'll show you how to install Python. It's really easy. Go download VS Code, install Python, and just come on over here and I'll show you, in just a few minutes, you can have your own data set exactly how you want it. And then if you really want to dive into it, spend like an hour, you can have a really good data set that's unique, only you have. And now you can apply that to your portfolio projects to just take your analysis to the next level, take your resume and your portfolio to the next level. So people will actually, give you a second look instead of just skipping over your resume. After you install VS Code, after you install Python, you're going to want to come over here and pip install Faker, if I can spell. F-A-K-E-R, Faker. So once you have Faker installed, you're going to want to import it. Now, there's two different ways you can do this. This is just Python things. You can import Faker as Faker, or you don't even have to put as. You can just import Faker. Or you can do from Faker, import Faker with a capital F. What this does is this imports the Faker class. That way, when you use Faker, you don't have to type out the full word. Let me show you what I mean. When I bring in Faker, I have to then now initialize this class. So when I'm just importing Faker, I have to type out the full thing Faker, .Faker, and this initializes the class. Now again, I'm not going to go way into Python in this video. So better yet, just type what I'm typing. From Faker, import Faker. And then you can drop this whole Faker right here. You can call this whatever you want. This variable I'm creating here, I'm just going to call it fake, and you'll see why in a second. So fake equals Faker. So we're creating this as this Faker class. So now what can we do with this Faker data? So let's say you want a username. So what we can type is fake, or whatever you call this right here. You can type in fake dot name. So then when I run this, you can see fake, there's my fake name, Troy Peterson. I can run this again. I'm using a shortcut right now to run this. You can also, it's Control-Alt-N is what I'm using. I believe that's by default in VS Code. If it's not, let me show you a better way to run it. Make sure you navigate to the folder. So right here I'm in F scraping. This is the current folder I'm in. So make sure you navigate to the folder where you've created this, and then type Python, and then the name of the Python file, and make sure you put .py at the end here. So then here's my other name. So I prefer, instead of typing all this out, I prefer the shortcut Control-Alt-N. So there we go. I got another one. So now what can you do with this? I'm sure you can already think of all kinds of things. So there's a bunch of different things you can do within Faker that's all built in. So like, let's say instead of name, look, I could do name female, name male. I could do an address. Let's say I want an address. And then I'll run that. So now here I've got a full address. Let's say I don't want the whole address. I just want zip code. I could just do zip code. And now I have a fake zip code. So you can see how using Faker, instead of you coding out like a huge long like randomizer and like creating all this different stuff, it's already all built into Faker. So using Faker and all the built-in methods that it comes with, you can create a full fake data set, whether it's like a customer's data set or like a parts data set or sales, or, you know, because you can do like emails. Let's say, let's real quick, let's go back over here, get rid of my face here. Let's create a user real quick. So we want a name. I'm just going to copy this. Let's see, I want a name, I want an email. I'm just going to create a few things here. What else do you want? I want an address. Let's see, a phone number. And what else could I do for, let's see. Let's do a job too. Let's give them an occupation. So now, if I run this, you'll see I get a whole customer profile here just by running this. I've got their name, Mr. Mark Combs. I've got his address. I've got his email address. I've got his phone number. It's a very interesting looking phone number. Oh, that's his extension as well. Let me see on phone number. I think you can do, there you go, basic phone number. There you go, that gets rid of the extension. And then I have so you can see every time you run it, it creates all new data. So now I have another user right here. Now I have somebody that's an editor in commissioning. This is their phone number, address, email, and name. So it's just that easy with Faker. I've made 2 users. Now, you actually want to do something with this. You want to create, a CSV file or an Excel file. The easiest is probably going to be a CSV file. So let me show you how to do that real quick. Let's create like 5 fake users. All right, so here's our updated code. Again, this will be available on the GitHub and link below. Now let me explain just a little bit of what we're doing. I brought in pandas just because this is the easiest way to take the data, throw it into a data frame, and then export it to CSV using pandas. I could also just import the CSV library and export it like that, but if you're going to get into data, you need to learn how to use pandas, so just get familiar with that. Now I'm going to show you a little trick I do here that I learned from Shashank Kalanathi. You import OS, and then you take present working directory and you assign it to os.getCurrentWorkingDirectory, which this takes wherever this file is located, and it automatically assigns it to this variable. So now when I call or write or whatever I do, when I use this pwd, it automatically updates that directory. So I can move this file. Let me show you real quick. If I call this real quick. Oh, so there's our data, and it threw it into here. Where is it? Data. What did I call it? User data. Oh, look in the use. So it's right here. User data. Here's our 5 names, city, job, and everything, and it put it right in here. So now using this present working directory, if I move this file, let's just create a new folder instead of mess with my other stuff I have going on. New folder, we'll just call it users. All right. So after I've navigated to that, I'm going to run this faker users.py. Now it's run it, and now look, without me ever changing anything about this, automatically put it in here. Like, that's the beauty and a wonderful thing. I've started using this all the time on all my projects. I use this so I don't have to worry about updating this file naming and structure. I don't have to find the file or figure out where the heck anything is all the time. You just use that. And writing it, it doesn't really matter, but reading it, when I go to read it later, this is really powerful and it's really nice. So just a little trick if you want it. So let's go ahead and look at the user data. So we got Tammy Peterson, Laura, Whitney Chapman, and everything. So just like that, I have a user data set. So now, just by changing this number, let's say I want 100. So I'm going to run that again. You see it takes just a second. I guess I could have got rid of this print statement right here because this is just printing. It's not doing anything to our data set. But now look, just like that, running this little bit of code here, I'll even take this out so we don't print. Let's just print. Users created. We'll just do that. Just for niceties, I don't know. So just like that, just running just this little bit of code, I now have 100 users in a data set that I can now go and analyze, do whatever I want, create a portfolio project, whatever you need to do. So let's take this a little further. Now, at this point, if you're ready to go and just run with it, go ahead and download this starter file. And what you'll want to do is come over here to the Faker documentation. It's on faker.readthedocs.io, or if you just go to Google and type in Faker documentation, you can find it there. And you can go through their documentation and find all the different things that you can do, bank address, currency, emojis. There's a ton of stuff in here. The documentation is not super great. So what I've actually done, and this will be available on the GitHub as well, I've created a second file here, Faker examples. Now this has, it's like 90% of all the methods that are available. There's more that are available, but this has a good chunk of all the methods that are available. So as you can see in personal information, to get a name, it's fake.name, first name, last name, prefix, suffix. Here, let's run this so you can kind of take a look at what these do. I'll bring this up so you can see it. So yeah, so prefix, Mrs., suffix, junior, age. This right here, they call it fake.sentence, and then you give it an amount of words that you'd like. It's not great at actually creating a sentence. It pretty much just gives you random words. That's why I call it favorite words. So you can see education, some, piece, voice, after, really. That's not a sentence. That's just random words. So even though this is called fake.sentence, treat it more like random words. You can see you can get email, which we already covered, phone number, which we discovered basic phone number is actually better. I'm going to change that for this file I'm going to put on GitHub. You can get address. You can do full address like this with just address, or you can break it out, do street address, city, state, zip code, country. So it depends how you want it. There's different things you can do with companies. You can do job, company suffix, which is great. It does like group. Sometimes it'll be LLC. Like there's different suffixes that'll add to the company if that's something you need. Financial information. This one's really cool. You can create fake credit card numbers, credit card providers, routing numbers using ABA, account numbers using BBAN. So right here you can see here's my fake routing number, my fake accounting number. You can do, or account number. You can do international account numbers, and you can make a fake currency. So let's run this again just so you can see like the different compare. So fake currency, Cape Verdean escudo. I don't know what that is, but now we got the Fijian dollar. So you can do random dates. You can do future date, past date. You can do a random date of birth. And you can use these minimum age, maximum age to filter what the date of birth is. Like if you are creating a data set only on like high school kids, you could change this to like 14 to 18 or something. So this is the beauty of Faker. Instead of going and prompting over and over ChatGPT or Claude and saying, give me a data set that's this, and then they just give you real garbage data, use Faker in conjunction with Claude and ChatGPT, which I'm going to show you in a second. But use that to get the exact data set you need for what you're trying to do. Just real quick, here's probably one of my favorites. You can do Bothify, which basically you can create a random anything. So if you put question marks, it will give you a random letter. And if you put the pound sign or hashtag or, depending what generation you're from, if you put that, it'll give you a random number. So let me just give it all this real quick. We'll just run it so you can see. So see, it gives me I did 4 random letters and then numbers. So the other cool thing you can do with it is you can specify what letters it pulls from. So like, let's say, I had it here, coupon code. Let's say I only wanted it to be like X, Z, or Y. So I only want it to be X, Z, or Y. So then I'll run that. I won't delete everything, just real quick. So it gives me my 4 digits right there with X, Z, or Y. So I'll take that back to what I had it as before, which was this. And this is what that looks like right here, the coupon code. So this is great. This might even be something you need in your organization to make fake coupon codes. I don't know. I doubt it as a data analyst, but it's there. So as I was saying, sorry, I got a little sidetracked at ADHD. Let me show you what you can do when you use this in conjunction with ChatGPT, how you can get the exact data set that you need for your analysis. Now, why would you need this? Well, let's say you're applying to a job that's in the healthcare field. Healthcare data is really hard to come by. I assume it's because of HIPAA violations. They can't just share it. So let me show you Faker. So what I did was using Faker and asking ChatGPT as well. I've created my own data set. So I can this is on my GitHub. I can link it in the description below if you'd like to take a look at it. So what I did is I didn't type all these out. I asked ChatGPT for these. So I said, give me, occupations. This is patient data, by the way. Give me insurance plans, medical conditions, allergens, medications that they might take. And then I'm using those to build out my fake data. Now, even if you don't understand any of this, just knowing that Faker exists, instead of asking ChatGPT to give you a data set, what you need to be doing is asking it, how can I use Faker, or give me the Faker Python code, knowing nothing about Python. Just say, give me the Faker Python code to make a medical data set. And then it can give you all this. And then if you work on it, I messed with this back and forth with ChatGPT and Claude for a while, probably a couple hours, because I really wanted a really good looking data set. Okay, so here I have it pulled up in Excel. As you can see, I have 100,000 records for this fake data set. So I've got my patient ID, my last checkup, my date of birth. This is not the final data set. I'm still working on perfecting this data set so I can put it up on Kaggle for other people to have. But yeah, you can see I've got insurance providers, insurance plans. Now, I did have to go through, I don't think this is the cleaned up data. No, this is not. So I did go through later and you might have to do this as well. I went through and I pulled all this up in Excel because it was easier to leave my code as it was, giving me all the random stuff, and to really make a good data set. This is the problem with using, Faker and ChatGPT and all these. So as you can see, like right here, I have insurance provider none, but then I have an insurance plan and a premium. If I have an insurance provider none, I shouldn't have a premium. So let me just pull up. This is the clean version of it after I changed a few things. So as you can see, when I have insurance provider none, my premium is also none. And I changed some of the percentages and different things that pull up. But this is something you might have to do. What I did is I pulled all this into an Excel, and I just basically did a few formulas where when this is none, these are also none, and this is 0 to clean it up. And then I did a few other things over here, and I cleaned this and changed it around. So if you don't care about the quality of the data that you're working with, you can just create, just ask ChatGPT and run the first thing he gives you or it gives you, and just take that data and run with it. But if you want to spend a little bit more time, here's another one I created, customer complaints. I've got product, part number, and everything, and here's a description. Now, unusual vibration in control panel, blah, blah, blah. So you can see this is an actual sentence. So the way I did this was with Faker, is using this, where I used actual phrases and context and different things. And I had ChatGPT help me out with some of these. That way I'm not typing them all out. And I'm just changing out a few words. It just creates, you want to have a more realistic data set. That's the main problem with AI created data sets is, in my medical records here as well, when I first asked for this from Faker, it was exact 50% split from female and male. And that's not a realistic data set. It was the same problem with ethnicity. It was exactly the same percentage across all of them. So I had to tweak it a little bit, go back in and try and tweak it. That way there's something to actually analyze, because if it's perfectly split across everything, there's nothing to really analyze or break down. So if you want a really high quality data set, you got to go back into things, and you can either do it in your code here, or if you're better at Excel, you want to just load it up in Excel and do things there. So it depends on what you're using it for. If you're just using it for testing some new thing you learned in Tableau and the quality of the data doesn't matter, go ahead and run it. It's something random through Faker real quick and call it good. If you're working on like a portfolio project and you cannot find that perfect data set for the exact industry you need, you can't find healthcare data, you can't find, bank information. Faker would be a perfect way if you're, applying to some data analyst position in the financial sector and you need like fake banking information. Perfect, right here. You can use Faker. Just know that it might be a good idea to work on the data a little bit to increase the quality of it, so you don't get, perfectly split data that just doesn't look very good like this one I had here. So this one, if I looked at these counts, it's 50% male and female. The same with blood type. It was split like perfectly even. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that in Excel, different formulas and stuff. Maybe that's a different video. I don't want this to get too long. It's already too long as it is. If you'd like to see that video, if you want to see me run, maybe I can run you through how I created this medical data set from start to finish. If you want to see like a full-fledged data set project, let me know in the comments below. I can do that. I can work on a full video showing you exactly how I would make this, put it out, and then after I get the data out of Faker and Python, then processing it to increase the data quality in the end. If you'd like to see that, let me know. And possibly if we do that, maybe we'll just make it full-blown, a next step. We'll then take that data and analyze it. And then we'll do another video where we take that and make a dashboard from it or something. So let me know in the comments what you're really looking for, what's going to help you the most. But I'll leave, this faker examples and this user data set right here. I'll put these up on the GitHub. Again, the links to those will be in the description. And other than that, thank you for watching. I will catch you next time.